Welcome to Impact Makers Radio, helping you to find jargon-free information before choosing a professional to help solve your problems and live the life you love. And here's your host, Stuart Andrew Alexander.
Hi and welcome to another Let's Talk Business conversation. And on this segment of the show, ladies and gentlemen, I have business coach Tina Greer, or should I say Tina L. Greer, CEO and owner of Greer Business Solutions, LLC. And she's calling in all the way from Douglasville, Georgia. Now, Tina, an authority in the business consulting industry, will be talking to you today about the blueprint to winning government contracts. Now that sounds like a really interesting topic. So if you are one of the increasing number of small business owners in and around the Douglasville, Georgia area, or anywhere else throughout the whole country, in fact, and you're out there looking for, seeking desperately, easy to digest, jargon-free information that addresses your issues within your business right now, then you might want to just take a break, log out of Facebook, quit the Twittering and Instagramming or anything else you happen to be doing which may cause a distraction. And get ready to take some notes as we listen in to what Tina has to share with us today. So with that said, let's not keep her waiting any longer. Welcome to the show, Tina.
Wow, thank you, Stuart. It is a pleasure and an honor to be able to speak with you this afternoon.
And I'm so excited to have you on the show. We've had you on the show, I think it was just over a year ago or so it's great to have you back. So let's just jump feet first in then, Tina. It goes without saying that anything you share with us today is not legal advice or even legal assistance. You're not an attorney or anything like that, so it's purely just for the purpose of disseminating information. Can you just expand on that in your own words for us, please, Tina?
That is true. I will be providing information as it relates to my experience in the government contracting industry. So I will be sharing various strategies and resources as it pertains to government contracting.
Fantastic. Thanks for making that very clear then, Tina. So please, take a brief moment to tell us about Greer Business Solutions, the people who you serve, and the kinds of situations that they find themselves in when they come to you for your help.
Sure. I'm excited to be able to share Greer Business Solutions, which is a coaching and consulting services company where we work with small business owners and even entrepreneurs as it relates to them learning how to bid on government contracts.
So, Tina, when you think about the people who you help, what are the advantages of them actually knowing how to win government contracts?
Well, there is a huge advantage to winning government contracts and also having government contracts as a revenue stream. In the procurement space, and I wanted to really hone in on the federal procurement space, there are actually over 30,000 solicitations daily nationwide, opportunities out there for companies to bid on government contracts. And in fact, the government market is the largest purchaser of goods and services. So they are looking for contractors to provide a solution to their problem. And we as business owners, via small business owners, large companies, have an opportunity to be able to bid on these contracts. And what I do in my company is work in the competitive bidding space, meaning that there is a process and there is a system one must follow in order to be compliant and be competitive when they're bidding the contracts, the solicitations, if you will.
Now, Tina, let me just rewind the tape. You said 30,000, right? You said it without stuttering.
Yes, 30,000 per day. If you can go on the main website, you can find 30,000 procurement opportunities out there nationwide. And it also in a variety of different skill sets. So it's a point when I want to really, when I work with my clients and potential clients, I want them to understand that there is a vast opportunity, and this opportunity a lot of people are not aware of, that they can position themselves to win and to win big as it relates to bidding on contracts. There is opportunities out there. There's different programs available, especially for small business owners, in order to understand the procurement process, and also in order to stand out beyond, allow them to be unique in regards to their offerings. But it does take training and development, but it also takes awareness. And that is what I want to really make sure that I, speak at different platforms to make sure companies are aware of the opportunities that are available to them.
Well, we're certainly going to do our part in helping you to spread awareness, because 30,000 procurement opportunities per day, that's a huge opportunity for small business out there. So with that said then, Tina, as you alluded to already, not a lot of people are aware of these opportunities, but for those who are, and for those who will be tuning into this show in the future, and as they start to do their own research, they may go online, they may ask friends, they may ask colleagues, maybe they know somebody who won a government contract. And as they start to, gather their own information, what they believe to true may not actually be the case. So with that said then, Tina, can you just please share a couple of the biggest myths that are out there when it comes to winning government contracts?
As it relates to small business owners, especially, for example, certifications, one of the biggest myths is some people even approach me and say, well, I'm certified as an 8A small business. And that's a certain certification that one company must get based on being disadvantaged and so forth. And some individuals or business owners believe that because I'm certified, that I'm automatically going to get a contract with the government, and that is not the case. And it is very important to understand that you still have to bring forth your best effort in regards to bidding on contracts. It's no guarantee to win anything, and because you have a certification does not guarantee you a win in this industry. You still have to bring value, you still have to be competitively priced, and you also still have to deliver an execution in order to maintain your contract. So that's one of the biggest myths in regards to when I talk with small business owners. And then another myth is that small business owners believe they don't even have an opportunity to bid, and that is not the case either, because there is laws and rules that are established where there's a mandate of 23% of a contract award has to go to a small business, and there's even opportunities for women-owned small businesses to get 5% of the contract award. So what that means is that the large companies who may be bidding these opportunities, they actually have to subcontract a percentage of that work to small business owners. And this mandate established by Congress through SBA and the like, this allows small business owners to have an opportunity to work and bid on these contracts, and it levels the playing field. So there is opportunity out there for small business owners, but unless you seek the information and position yourself with individuals and experts that know this industry, then you will be left out there and intimidated on even trying to bid on anything that's available to you. So it's very important to educate yourself.
So I get a sense of almost a acres of diamonds scenario. You know that story, right? Where you just sat right there in the middle of the opportunity, but don't see it, and you're digging for it and searching for it elsewhere. This just appears to be a huge opportunity for small business owners out there, Tina. I just did the math at 30,000 opportunities per day. I worked it out at 30 days a year. That's 900,000 opportunities. That's just, why don't people know about this? How come it's just not common knowledge?
And that's one of the things that it's a shame that is not common knowledge, or people just don't understand and don't want to participate. But think about it. Large companies, you hear the large companies, the Boeings, the General Dynamics, the Northrop Grumman, all of those out here, working with DOD agencies and other agencies that are providing solutions to what the government needs. So it's not that they only need large items or airplanes and things of that nature. They need even the smallest things as office supplies and janitorial services.
Wow.
So they may need items for the space station as well as items to supply, VTC services for a conference room.
Mm-hmm.
So the scope is huge, but unless you take the time to really, educate yourself in this industry, then you will never know, because people are making money, people are making millions, but it's up to you to be proactive and seek out this information and see, how can I position myself as a small business owner to get a piece of this pie? It is available to you, but you definitely have to seek it out.
So, Tina, if somebody goes through the process of getting themselves certified and working with an expert like you, and they just tick all of the boxes that these, the government's looking for when they're awarding these contracts, what's the likelihood then, if the demand is there for their service, of them actually winning the contract?
The demand is very high because, based upon the solicitation requirements, each solicitation has a subcontracting plan. And what that is that it allows subcontractors, small businesses, if they have certain certifications, the prime contractor, which is the one that oversees the effort, they have to reach out to small business owners. And if they're certified, they even look more attractive to the larger companies because of the subcontracting requirements that are mandated by Congress. So it's important to make sure, as a small business owner, not only just bidding on contracts, you can do that. You don't have to be certified to bid on contracts. You just have to go through a registration process. But to make yourself stand out above the crowd, certifications help. Woman-owned small business, hub zone, veteran-owned small business, disadvantaged business, all those certifications makes you stand out above the crowd. And it also makes you look attractive to prime contractors that are looking to check the box and say, yes, I have subcontracted with a small disadvantaged business, I have subcontracted with a woman-owned small business, and the like. So that allows these small companies to be able to be a part of a large effort and gain the past performance, gain the experience, generate revenues, and the like, because of the requirements set forth in the solicitation. So it's very valuable, but you have to position yourself.
This is so fascinating. I feel like I can sit here and speak to you all day about this topic. With any industry, Tina, there are always some misguided truths. So in your industry, just share a couple of the common misconceptions that you come across on a regular basis.
Some common misconceptions would be, I think the common misconception is it's hard to enter the market.
Right.
And again, one of the things is that people get intimidated. A misconception is intimidation because of lack of knowledge.
Yeah.
One of the things that I run across with small business owners is, let's just say they are in the system, if you will, in order to bid on government contracts. They are certified. They've went through that process, but they haven't taken the next step. So I want to make sure that they are aware that there are individuals out here as myself that have been in this industry for over 20 plus years, that know the language, know the rudimentals of even bidding on contracts, and know the strategy behind the price, that are able to help them. So intimidation stops people in their tracks, and therefore they don't move forward. I've run across a lot of individuals that say, yes, I am in the system, I am certified. My next question is, have you even bid on your first contract or your first solicitation? And the answer would be no. Right. And then I follow up with why? Why haven't you? Because the opportunity is so vast. So even though the goal of the federal of the government is 5%, the goal is to hit 5% contract award on each contract that they award out to these companies. Sometimes they don't hit that because the small business owners are not bidding. So it's up to us as small business owners to take the next step and actually try to bid. And that's okay if you bid on your first one and you don't win. you continue to build that muscle and find out why you did not win. One of the misconceptions is going back to lack of knowledge. A misconception is one of my colleagues is a government contractor. They bid on an effort and they did not win, but they didn't even understand that they do have an opportunity to go back to the contracting officer and ask why. Ask for a debrief to say, and the debrief, it just lets them know what was the awarded, who won the contract, the awarded price, and then also what pitfalls or where they were lacking so they can know how to make it better for the next effort. Use it as a learning tool.
Right.
So I don't want them to get discouraged. A lot of them gets discouraged because they don't win their first bid. Again, nothing is guaranteed, but you have to get out there and try.
So, Tina, let me know if I understand you correctly. When you mentioned that the government has to give out 5%, are you saying that they have a budget where they have to give out 5% of these procurement opportunities, these bids, these opportunities, and when they're not taken up, when these small business owners are not bidding, that money then goes where? Does it go to waste? Well, what happens with that
No,
budget?
what happens, and then this is a great question, and what happens is that if the prime contractor cannot find a qualified sub, a certified subcontractor to perform that work, they can bring it in-house.
Wow.
So it's a goal of 5% of the contract award that goes to a small business or certified small business. But if the prime does their due diligence and cannot find a company that can satisfy that, then they can bring it in-house. And that's even for the state and local. There are requirements, percentages that allow the small business owners on the state and local level to bid on contracts. And if you read some solicitations, it would say you have to reach out to small business owners or vendors on this list. If you cannot find anyone and you've done your due diligence, then you have to justify that you've done that, and then you can actually bid it in-house.
Well, I sure hope there's people out there listening to this right now and saying to themselves, if I do have permission for you to put on my John Wayne American accent, do I have permission?
Yes.
I go get me some of that, right? I know it's awful when I speak with an American accent. Everybody always says I sound like John Wayne. But anyway, I sure hope that's happening because this opportunity, wow, I'm so excited. I wish I was American. I'd be jumping all over this. So Tina, in terms of fears then, let's just expand on that. You did mention what some of the fears are already, but what are some of your clients' most common fears about government contracts? Now, I understand a lot of it's internal, right? I mean, when I think about it, just the word government kind of throws up obstacles subconsciously. Oh my goodness, it's to do with the government, surely
the red tape and all of that.
And it's so much bigger than me. I'm just a small entrepreneur. So let's talk about some of those fears then, Tina.
Sure. Again, like I said, the red tape, the processing. You will get paid, and it's guaranteed you're going to get paid by the federal government, but you may not get paid in the timeliness of what you would want to. It just really depends upon how that solicitation is written. If it's net 30, net 60 days, net 90 days, and you're wondering how I need cash flow. So one of the problems is or challenges is contractors have is access to capital. As I'm waiting, I've won the job, I'm working the job, but I'm waiting for cash flow to come in, a payment to come in. How am I to sustain my business? So access to capital in order to make sure you have cash flow, that's always an issue. And there's definitely organizations out there that can help small business owners in regards to when they're building up their business to have access to capital, and also loans that they can partake in. So those are always, challenges as it relates to small business owners, especially when you're just getting started and you don't have the funds and you have a staff and things of that nature. So that is definitely a challenge. Another challenge is not positioning yourself to collaborate with other small companies, knowing that networking works. Even in the commercial or private industry where we really focus in on networking, building relationships, you have to do that in the government space as well. They have expos, networking opportunities where you can actually talk with the contracting agencies and officers to know what's coming down the pike, to build a relationship and rapport with them. So those are certain things that a lot of business owners don't even realize that they still need to do in order to win the business. What we like to say in my industry is that when an RFP hits the street, it's already too late. And what that means is that you should already, if you know if something's coming up for bid or recompete, you should already have your plan of action on how you're going to capture that business, maybe 1 to 2 years out, studying it, looking at your competitors, looking at the past of historical performance of that job. You want to strategize and set yourself up. You know when it's coming out, when it's time for rebid. Get to know the agency, be contracting officers within that agency, build a relationship prior to it hitting the street. So that positions yourself to now you know the nuances of what they're looking for. You know historical information of what has been done before. You have a competitive analysis plan. You know who's bidding on that job because you're talking with each other. You're going to events and you're finding out, being proactive to position yourself to win. So there's a lot of different nuances that business owners need to consider, whether they're small or large organizations, to position themselves. So it's not just about price. Price may be the lowest evaluator. It might be, they also look at your management. How do you manage your business? Technical, can you perform the work? Past performance, have you done this work before? There are certain questions that you need to review and analyze as it relates to your business to see if this is a good opportunity for you to go after, because it will cost you money, either time or money, in regards to preparing bids in this government space.
So knowing that, things like price, past management processes, all those things that you mentioned are going to be part of the process of winning these government contracts. What other perceived obstacles do you see that might be preventing entrepreneurs, those small business owners out there, from seeking the necessary help of a business coach like yourself to help them get through those issues?
I think that they have to understand the value, understand the value of wanting to invest in themselves, in their business in order to move forward. A lot of small business owners get stuck right there. And when you have individuals like myself who have worked on multi-million-dollar efforts for organizations, for companies throughout, North America, as well as understanding that if you're not, you have to understand that if you're not compliant, you can get kicked out of the effort. So you can't just willy-nilly and work yourself through and say, well, I'll figure it out. Then you're wasting time, energy, and money. But it is very important that they have to understand the value of a coach, especially in this government contracting space, how they can help catapult you to the next level because of the expertise that my company provides to the end user. It's very crucial to have an individual such as myself on your team to help you navigate through that process, because it's all about strategy. It's not 1 plus 1 equals 2. Here's my bid price. There is a strategy behind the bid. There's a strategy in execution that you need to be aware of in order to maintain profitability, because at the end of the day, as a small business owner, you're bidding on these jobs because you want to make money, right?
Right. Yeah, I mean, it certainly sounds like you need that guiding hand to navigate through this whole process. So with that said then, Tina, can you just, please share an example of what really sums up how you've been able to help small business owners to succeed in getting that transformation they were looking for when they initially reached out to you?
Well, one of the examples I like to share is I've worked with a client of mine who's already an established government contractor, have been winning jobs. So, but the point was, until they actually sat down with me, they didn't even realize how much money they've been losing, money leaks, leaving money on the table. One of the challenges that small business owners have is that they underprice themselves when they're bidding on jobs, because either they don't know their numbers, they don't understand their numbers, or didn't incorporate everything they need to incorporate in a bid. So that is one of the huge problems of underpricing a bid. But then also leaving money on the table when you're even dealing with subcontractors, and understanding that when you're preparing a bid, you need to also make sure that you have a sub-handling fee and things, your PM cost incorporated into the bid and so forth. And also enough fee. What is your fee percentage that you're attacking on to a bid? Those are some of the things that I've come across. And then another things that I'm seeing is regards to not including all your costs, the minute costs. Mm. A lot of times through my consultations with companies, I find that they leave the small costs, and then the small costs can be, can really add up to a lot of dollars that they lose out, have to expense out, and it eats into their profitability because they didn't recognize the cost and proposal when they were proposing it. They only saw it in execution. And that goes with not sitting down and really mapping out the process of how you're going to be providing a solution to what that scope of work states. So those are some of the things I've been able to save companies. The last one I did, it was over $20,000 to $50,000 in increase in revenue after my consultation. She was able to obtain a contract for. So, and that is really by me sharing my knowledge, strategizing, and getting down to those numbers to say what's going to be best for your company and how to approach it strategically in order to increase your revenue streams or decrease money leaks.
This is such a great conversation today, ladies and gentlemen. So let me just remind you, our guest today is business coach Tina L. Greer, owner of Greer Business Solutions, LLC in Douglasville, Georgia. And she's here today talking about the blueprint to winning government contracts. Now, with that in mind, Tina, and for those small business owners listening right now, what are some of the little-known pitfalls or even common mistakes that they need to keep in mind no matter what kind of situation they find themselves in?
I think some of the pitfalls is to really, when they're preparing, like for instance, let's talk about when they're bidding, to make sure that they're doing just a simple bid, making sure that they've answered everything that they need to answer, reading thoroughly the solicitation, understanding the requirements of the solicitation, and making sure that your solution and what you're going to propose, it makes sense, that it's legible, that when you add up your pricing numbers, that they are correct, that, your math is correct. I mean, these are just simple things, because anything that you do not submit per the requirements and you do not understand per the requirements of that solicitation will kick you out. Mm. So all of that work would be in vain because you didn't put forth your best effort. And I want everyone, especially these small business owners, to understand, as I said before, there's thousands of solicitations out there nationwide to bid on in the federal space as well as state and local, but that does not mean that you have to bid on everything. You need to make sure whatever you decide to bid on, that it is in alignment with your target audience, with the services that you provide, and making sure that you do your analysis to say, is this a good fit for my company to bid on? Can I do the work? Mm. Then put forth your best effort and propose, and provide your bid and, your solution to that particular solicitation.
And that's something your company can help them with selecting that particular, the right bid that's in alignment with their services, right?
Right.
Okay,
exactly,
great.
Exactly.
So in terms of those pitfalls that you just mentioned then, Tina, what do people need to do to avoid them in the first place?
Is to really understand their business, understand their capabilities. Another thing, when you're out bidding on contracts or thinking about bidding on contracts, you need to have a capability statement. And what that is that once you've dissected what services that your company is going to provide, it's really a resume for your company. So when you're out and about networking, you can provide the capability statement to these agencies or contracting departments and companies, letting them know exactly what services your company provides. So you have to get focused and specific on what services that you're going to provide, what makes you unique, what differentiates you from the rest, and then also align your classification codes to your skill sets. We didn't even talk about NAICS codes, but your classification codes to your skill sets in order to make sure that you present your company professionally and also in a one-page format of a capability statement that potential client knows exactly what you bring to the table.
So, Tina, when you think about all the people who you've helped throughout your entire career, and I'm not just talking about with winning government contracts, but on a whole, when you think about all those people that you've helped to achieve the transformation that they were looking for when they initially reached out to you, how does that make you feel then, Tina, on a deep down personal level? What do you actually get from that?
I get great satisfaction. I get great satisfaction because I'm sharing my knowledge. I am a servant leader. I love to serve, I love to empower, and I love to inspire. And I'm using the vehicle of government contracts in regards to training and development to reach out to individuals that want to learn. I've always been, I always wondered, how did others make it? What did they do? How do I position myself as other people to live the life that I want, have the quality of life that I want? And that is by understanding business fundamentals, understanding that you have to position yourself to win, understanding that you have to have an infrastructure in place. You can't not just say, oh, I want to do this and get all excited and just go for it. There has to be a process in place. And it is my goal through my intellectual capital, that's what I like to call it, through all these years of training and schooling, master's degree, public administration, specializing in finance, government contracting for over 20 plus years, contracts management, business development, taking all this information and rolling it into a program and processes in order to help everyday individuals participate in this industry. So I break it down to where it's what we call layman's terms, to where you understand the nuances of why you're doing what you do, whether it be in the government space or even in private industry. But it is my goal and my desire to train individuals and push them to their greatness. I always fall back on that, push them to their greatness, and really work with individuals that are serious and they want to take their business to the next level.
So, Tina, you mentioned that you love to inspire people, but on the other side of the coin, what was it that inspired you or led you to become the business coach who you are today? Because, I'm sure that you didn't get up one day, 20 years ago and say, I want to be a business coach. There's always a winding path, a meandering path to where one finds themselves today. So what was it that led you to become a business coach, then, Tina?
I think it's because of where I come from in my past, because I've gotten here through work, through sweat equity, and also having mentors in my life. I've never had one particular mentor. I was not privileged enough to have that person that's the Fortune 500 type company person or executive. So I had to pick and choose mentors as I moved through my journey to discovering myself, discovering my passion and my purpose. And also, I love to reach back and help others that have been in position of where I come from. My background is very humble. I come from a very a poor background, but I feel that if you position yourself and you have a good work ethic and you're willing to learn new things in order to navigate through this process in what we call life, and as far in business and in personal, and attach yourself with people that are moving and that are positive, forward-thinking individuals, then you too can succeed. So really, your past does not dictate your future. You can actually make the change that you want to see, and it's up to you. So I really just I have a soft heart for those individuals that maybe coming from poverty, or I can speak to that because I've been there. But it's a point of that does not dictate where you're going. That's just only the starting point, but it does not dictate where you can go if you choose to. And it is my desire to let people know that you do have a choice. It's up to you. You have to be proactive, and you have to go get it and align yourself with positive individuals in order to get that. So those are just some of the words of inspiration that I want to leave with individuals, is that you have greatness inside of you. It just sometimes have to, just be built up, and it's already there. Just have to activate it. It needs to be activated, and you need to keep pushing. No matter what your adversities are, you need to keep pushing, because you will get to the other side. but you keep your head down, you keep focused, and learn from those who have been there already. They've already designed the path. You just need to walk in it.
Yeah, follow those with the arrows in their back, right? so to speak. They've already walked the blazing trail.
Yes.
All right, so follow those with the arrows in the back. Exactly. So Tina, please share a lesson then that you learned earlier on. I'm sure there are just so many, but just please share one lesson that you learned early on that still influences how you do business today.
One of the lessons I learned early on is to be your authentic self. Be yourself.
Good one.
Don't try to mimic someone else. Don't try to, even though you have mentors, leaders, guides, and things of that nature, but learn you. Be true to yourself and how you conduct business, because if you are authentic in your deliverance, then you don't have to worry about switching and changing based upon who you're talking to. Let your own personality, your own character, come out, and you develop yourself into the person that you want to be, but still be true to yourself, and then continue to move forward, because if you are being your authentic self, you're going to reach more people, and people will resonate with you, and the right people, I should say, will resonate with what you're trying to say, what you're trying to do as you move forward in your business.
Yeah, there's no money in the middle. It's either you love me or you hate me. That's
right.
where the success true. Is, and it's just such a great insight that you've just shared. But it's so easily just to pass over when you said be yourself, learn to be yourself. I mean, I can personally say I spent years, decades not being myself. So you really have to be cognizant of that, because you can waste so much time up until the point where you just hit a moment where you say, oh my God, I'm actually good enough. And who I am, nobody else can be. And, the best thing about being yourself is there's no competition, because
there you go.
There's only one, there right? So that's great insight for listeners. Thanks, Tina. So in terms of what's the most important question that small business owners should be asking themselves while thinking about winning government contracts, can you just please expand on that for us, and Tina? What's that most important question they should be asking?
The most important question they should be asking themselves, or they may ask themselves, is that, can I really do this? And the answer is yes. Now, they have to make sure, when you say, can I really do this, they need to seek out guidance. They need to seek out organizations. They need to seek out coaches to make sure they understand this industry. It's not like it's a textbook industry. There is rudimental type things that you can go to, Mr. Google and find out. However, there are there are case studies, they are experiences that a coach can give you that Mr. Google cannot. And it's imperative that they seek out a business coach that understands this industry, that has been trained by large corporations, that have had opportunities to work with executives within the company and strategize with them and provide resources to them. So really identifying with those type of skill sets, and also individuals that are willing to help, that's willing to share information, identifying individuals like that, like myself, that are here to help, to encourage, but to train and to still help keep you accountable for your business and your reason why you're doing the business in order to move forward. So I really encourage individuals to get the training they need to be able to participate in this $1 trillion industry that is our United States federal government. They are the largest purchaser of goods and services. And you might have goods, you might have a service or expertise, and they're looking for you, but they won't know who you are unless you follow the steps, unless you go through the process of understanding how to register, understanding how to bid on jobs, understanding the compliancy of the solicitation process. Unless you seek out that information, that knowledge, then they won't know who you are. And then the portions of money that have been set aside for you will actually go to larger organizations. And that is not what that is for. So you, as a small business owner, as a company, medium-sized, small, certified disadvantaged company, you have an opportunity out here to play in $1 trillion industry. It's up to you to go for it. And what I've always told my prospects, colleagues, friends, clients is that I'm here to make people millionaires. There is the percentage of opportunity to make millions in this industry when it's $1 trillion industry. Just think about that. You can be a millionaire overnight.
Sure.
And have a small business.
So Tina, let me just play devil's advocate for a moment.
Sure.
Because one could perceive your answer as pertaining to you should seek the help of an expert, a coach, as you trying to, underhandedly sell your services because we all know you're a business coach. So for those people who may be just thinking that, this is me just introducing the elephant into the room, which, please forgive me, I do love animals, but we have to squash that elephant right now. We have to squash it flat. What would be the consequences of trying to go it alone? Because there's maybe someone out there that think, Tina's just trying to sell her stuff here. She's shared lots of great information, but I can do this on my own. I can find all that stuff on Google. What could be the consequences of that, Tina?
One of the main consequences is that you're going to lose a lot of money. I lose a lot of money. I lose a lot of time, frustration, intimidation, and possibly just stop because you just don't understand.
Right.
So it's up to you to make that decision. Because if you think about when you advance in your education, you go to school. You go to school to learn. You go to school to get an advanced degree. 9.99 out of 10 is not free. You have to pay for your education. You have to pay for knowledge. Seek out that knowledge, and there's a cost to everything. So either you're going to spend X amount of money in trying to figure it out and lose time. You're spending your time and money and trying to figure out, and it's not right. Or you seek the advice of counsel. You seek the advice of experts that have done this, that are proven in the industry, and that can help alleviate the stress, the time, and save you money overall in the process.
Well,
it's your choice.
I've never felt like I've been so softly spanked in my whole life.
Okay.
Oh, preach, Tina, preach it. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, the consequences. Tina has shared that in a very eloquent and empathetic manner. So, come on, everybody knows if you're going to learn something, it's best to learn from somebody who is an expert in that field. So that kind of leads me to my next question then, Tina, before we close out today. What's the most important thing that people should consider when evaluating a business coach like yourself?
I would say that and one of the things you need to consider is their background, not only their education, but their work experience. You also need to, consider, if there's testimonies out there or references, if you want references of past clients, to make that decision if you want to work with them or not. Get to know the individual. Get to know what they bring to the table. Do they offer free resources just to help individuals? Find out about that. Where do they reside? For example, I have a Facebook group where I share valuable resources and tips in regards to the bidding and winning of government contracts, and I ask people to join. Let's have a conversation.
And that's for free, right?
And it's free resources. And and I tell individuals all the time, free is good, but you still need to invest eventually. But take notes. People are dropping valuable knowledge worth thousands of dollars that can change the trajectory of your business in a free resource setting. Take notes. Look at the videos that I'm putting out there, so you can really, be able to, just really start to get your legs and, stand up in regards to this industry just by being in my group. and being aligned with, getting those strategies, tips, and resources that are available out there on a daily basis, which is called the blueprint to winning government contracts. So I do encourage people to join the group, but then also, like I said, take advantage of free resources. Organizations have free resources. But at the end of the day, if you really want to make a difference and not be stumbling, you do need to invest in a coach.
Fantastic. So if somebody does want to know more about the blueprint to winning government contracts, Tina, what would be the best way for them to get in touch with you?
Sure. They could, if they want to join my Facebook group, it's called The Blueprint to Winning Government Contracts. And then also, if they want to have a conversation with me to see if, government contract is a viable resource or a revenue stream for them, they can actually get on my calendar and we can have a conversation about it. I do want to give out that information.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Okay, that information is bit.ly Talk with Tina. And they can get on my calendar, and we can have a conversation. We just conversate and get your questions answered to see if the government contracting market is a viable resource for your expertise.
So, Tina, you've made it very clear that you're knowledgeable in the area of winning government contracts. You're passionate about the topic and you're very empathetic towards people's concerns and the issues and the challenges they have. However, there still may be one or two people who are thinking, this has been a great discussion, great conversation, but I'm still a little bit weary about getting in contact with Tina because I don't know what's going to happen. When I do, is she going to hit me over the head with a Fred Flintstone club and sell me everything underneath the sun? Is she going to, knee me in the stomach and hit me over the head with a metal bar and finish me off with knuckle dusters and sell me everything underneath the sun? People want to know, all right? So with that said, paint a picture of what will actually happen when they reach out to you so they know there's absolutely no risk to take the next step then, Tina.
Sure. What I do is that with my discovery call or complimentary assessment call is to really get to know them, get to know, more about what they do, the services they provide, their pain points, understanding their pain points. In order for me to provide the best advice or information to get them or direct them in the area of the direction they need to go, I need to know a little bit about them and what they're trying to do as it relates to their business. So really, it's an informational session to where I can get to learn more about who you are, the services that you provide, and what is the ultimate goals for your company. That is what this call would be about. It's not a sales call.
And may you live long and prosper, Tina. Listen, the time has flown by. I want to respect your time and the listeners' time. So, yeah, we do have to go at this particular point. So once more, as a reminder, ladies and gentlemen, we have been listening to business coach Tina L. Greer. Thank you so much for sharing so generously with us today, Tina. You have certainly demonstrated that you are a true educator, advocate, and trustworthy advisor for your client's success. So thank you so much.
You are so welcome. I'm so honored to be on your show.
You are so welcome, my dear. And even more importantly, I'd like to take a moment to say a big thank you to you. Yes, you, our listener. Without you, well, we wouldn't have anybody to speak to and we'd be sat here twiddling our little thumbs. So thank you also for taking the time out of your busy day to come and join us on what I can only describe as a very insightful and informative conversation with one of the leading business coaches in the Douglasville, Georgia area today. Again, her name is Tina L. Greer. Make sure you do check her out. Visit her website. She's got some really great resources on there. Send her a request on Facebook to join her Facebook group. It's free and it's full of fantastic information to help you along with your journey. And you know something, ladies and gentlemen, whatever you do decide to do after listening to Tina today, I am sure that you are going to be in a great place to get started learning about winning those government contracts. So that's it for today, folks. Again, my name is Stuart Andrew Alexander. I'm a long lost, distant relative of the British royal family. Can you believe that? But they don't tell anybody, Tina. How shameful is that?
Oh, wow.
They don't tell anyone, right? It's that Prince Charles is a very naughty boy. But anyway, you and I know we won't tell anybody. In all cases, we'll be back shortly with some more leading business professionals in this, our series of Let's Talk Business Conversations. So, until then, take care, have a great day, and we'll talk real soon.
Thank you for tuning in to Impact Makers Radio. To listen to all past, present and future industry thought leaders and trendsetters, visit us at impactmakersradio.com.